Good morning, everybody. Shane Rice here on the Inbound Marketing Weekly Recap Call. And we're getting started today with our metrics check-in. So I'll share my screen so we can go through these numbers. 1 second while I get that started. Oh, and also, I guess I should say it's the week of January 14th. Today is January 14th. And share my screen now. All right, great. So we are 80% of the way through the quarter. Wait a second. These numbers are not right. I updated the wrong one. Hold on. I think I updated this one. I'll fix this in just a second. These are the user and page views numbers for this week. New users dropped just a tad, and then page views are up. So looking at what we can do to keep this new users number continuing to grow and go back up, and then for the strategic marketing bucket page views, this is going back up, so we are getting back to positive, slowly getting back to positive here. Looking at our MQL commitments for quarter 4, and so we are on a pace for large to hit 57.05. So we grew that number by about a percentage point last week. So as traffic picks up in the new year, we are seeing MQLs pick up for each segment. And so I just want to show, kind of what that growth looks like week over week, and then also what that translates to as far as our pace, what we anticipate closing the quarter with, how that helps us grow that number. So this 1% increase helped grow this number by about 62 leads. Then mid-market, we are approaching 90% pace here, which is really, we want to be that or above on all these. But, other points to consider further down the sales cycle, our sales accepted opportunity number, SAOs, is where we want it to be. So even though we're a little bit soft on MQL numbers right now, we're still reaching those sales accepted opportunity goals. So that covers metrics for this week. Let me stop sharing my screen. Does anyone have any questions? Are any questions on the agenda? So I just want to give anyone a chance to verbalize if they have any. All right. So Michael's not on the call this week because he's doing CES.
I have one, Shane. I'm sorry. I was too slow on the mute button.
Oh, okay.
I think we talked about starting to show inquiries in here. What's your plan for that? Or do you need me to help you?
No, we did talk about that, and I have not added it yet just because it slipped my mind. But I will add it to the template right now when we're done talking, so that I don't forget next week, and we'll start talking about them.
Just so you know why, Todd said, I watched your video and everybody's all sad about MQLs, but one thing I think everyone should know here is the MQL scoring changed. So we're actually looking pretty good for inquiries, but our scoring changed very intentionally to reduce the amount of volume going to SDRs so they could focus on what we think are our best quality inquiries. So just when you see a bunch of at-risk stuff, it can be a little stressful, and Todd wanted to make sure to pass on, from his perspective, we're doing what we need to be doing, and he's seeing those inquiry numbers look really healthy. So Shane, I'm not trying to scold you for not having it here. I would love to see it, and I just want to make sure no one's worried about these MQL numbers. We won't be accountable for these going forward. We just don't have control over the scoring mechanism, so it's not really something we can be accountable for on this team.
Yeah, that makes sense. Well, and I don't feel scolded at all. But what I will do is I will record a short update after this call that just looks at the inquiry number and then add it to the thread so we can all kind of see that once we post the video.
Thank you. That would be amazing.
Yeah. Cool. So I appreciate that update, Danielle. I think that is really encouraging. With that, I'm gonna take Michael's spot this week and just kick off show and tell. So this is a section where we talk about the things we've done this week and what we're excited about. And with that, I'm going to pass it over to Lauren and Tina.
All right, I'm going to kick it off. We've got 2 new topics pages. This is a significant update from last week. We've applied many MRs to this template and styling, which includes the new design system. And just this morning, we also launched the Agile Delivery page here. And this also includes the same template And all of this is connected to the CMS. And I have this fired up locally over here. Can you guys see this CMS window? Yeah, so here you can see here's a topics page. We can go over to this agile delivery, and here's where we can fill in the information that will build the page over here. So we've got SEO description. It's for Shane and Hannah, and that will plug in right to the front matter, our canonical path, final URL path. So this will build what this path is going to be right here. You can select the social share image, and this opens an existing directory in the repo, and you can just scroll through the existing social share images or upload another one, or you can just pop a URL in there. You got our title, header body, which is this. We've got cover image, our body section. This is Markdown. And these are pretty cool. Our benefits block, where you can just list each benefit, the title, description, and the image. And these images pull all the images from an icon directory. So you can scroll through and see all the beautiful GitLab branded icons that we already have available in our repo, and just pick one that goes well. So over this agile delivery page, we had a benefit for speed to market, and the original one didn't have an icon, but it turns out we have this icon for speed. So works out, and we can continue iterating on that to make it better. And then in the bottom here, we have resources that are located down here. And these you just pop in. It's the same way, title, URL, and what type of resource it is, and it'll automatically group it into the correct spot. And then the bottom, we've got our blog articles. And here, go a little farther down, suggested content. You just pop in the URL of the blog, and it'll automatically pull the image, title, description. And we've added these little hint texts in the admin to describe what each of these do. And we're going to continue iterating on what that looks like. That was a lot of work done by our whole digital experience team, and we're really excited to keep iterating on that.
Yeah, I'm really suppressing the desire to do like the Kermit arms, you know, because that is super exciting. I love it. All right, Sammy, you're up.
Thank you. I'm going to share my screen right now, just to continue from where Lauren stopped. So this week, one of the things we did was what Lauren was describing right now about the Netlify CMS. So one of the pages that we developed is the topics pages from this Figma file. I'm trying to control this. Okay. All right. So this was the Figma file that we transformed into the beautiful web page that Lauren was sharing about. So we have this content management system that whenever we develop pages that looks like this, they're going to look super awesome. And we can always use this continuously. We don't have to rebuild it every single time that we need it. So this is one of the cool things we did this week. Big thank you to Tina for designing this beautiful UX design that we transformed into the web application. And secondly, just this morning, we released this a press release from IBM that we are now entering into an agreement with IBM. So we released this new this blue top banner to lead our users to where they can read about the press release. And it's already live on our website. It was released at 9 a.m. this morning, and it will be running until the 22nd of this month. So those are the two cool things we developed during this week. Thank you.
Thank you, Sammy. So I think next up is Valerie.
rare for me to share 2 weeks in a row, and even more rare for me to share my screen. But for once, I have something actually share worthy. But before I say anything else, Lauren, Tina, Sanmi, you guys so excited about the CMS. I'm just like also going to do the Kermit arms, just super excited. Where has this been all my life? Okay, sharing my screen. Oh God. Okay, hang on. I don't do this very often. All right, so this week, Newt and I, in sort of a cross-group collaboration, launched a brand new newsletter for GitLab. You guys probably know that we've been doing a bi-monthly GitLab branded newsletter that was sort of a hodgepodge of things. And based on Newt's great research, we discovered that really the 2 newsletters got very little uptick. And basically the only thing readers were interested in was our release data, which was the second newsletter. So we decided to completely change it up. And we've created a new newsletter called DevOps Download that's going directly to developers. So you'll notice something about this that's different. And one of those things that you'll see that's different is that it's actually focusing on things that developers are interested in, things about their career, open source, technology, something funny on Twitter. And then at the very bottom, we're anchoring it with our latest release data. So we're going to iterate on that. We've already gotten lots and lots of positive feedback from our community. We're going to team up with the developer evangelist group to kind of get their feedback as well. But the idea is to see if we can kind of have some gravitas, shall we say, around DevOps thought leadership and in the developer community that's separate just from sort of being marketing-y, if you know what I mean. I don't know that anything I said made sense, but the bottom line is we're trying this grand experiment to see if we can speak to the developer community, sort of developer to developer, as opposed to just GitLab to developer, and sort of see where that takes us. So yeah, that's what I have for today. Hang on, I don't know who's next. I lost my, over to, I don't know. Who's doing the slippers repo?
Hello, can you all hear me? All right, so something that we've kind of been digital experience, when I say we, have been silently working on, kind of as things are happening, was trying to get a repository for the slippers design system set up. So I'm going to share my screen really quickly here. So shout out to Danielle for giving us the right permissions to get this set up. Yeah, we have a repository for all of the design system work that we've been working on, which is really exciting. Starting to put stuff into it. We have a GitLab pages configuration set up for what slippers is going to be. We have like the style of what a button looks like, which is very basic, but it's like starting out and trying to translate what Figma is looking into the browser, which is really, really exciting. And yeah, all of this stuff is happening. Under the hood, we're using Vue.js, which is being used only sparingly where it makes sense. And we have like issues to describe how we're going about building sites. Under the hood, we're also using Tailwind CSS, which if you look at their site, I mean, the demo for it is just sells it right here. Having it published as an NPM package is something else that we've been working on. This is just like a test deploy, which is really exciting. And I think the next really big step is, all right, like we have a button in here. Can we use it in about.gitlab and get it to render? And once we have that, it's like, all right, we have like what is considered to be a design system, right? Because now all buttons should follow this style. And I think what's really exciting as well is trying to see how this fits in, especially with the Netlify CMS configuration, and seeing how all of that stuff will just come under the hood without having users having to think about what do styles look like, what do things look like. Everything just ends up being consistent. So yeah, this is something that I've been working on and I've been excited to share, but I've been just like holding my breath for a while. So yeah. I don't know who's next. I also lost my place in the document folder, but whoever's next.
I think it's me.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, so I have some things to share that really it's work that other people have contributed to a lot. This I did not do myself. This is mostly Hanif. He didn't put it on the list, so I wanted to make sure that it's there. We have been working with the Alliance's partners team to kind of get their website area to be in a better folder structure. So this is something that Hanif put together after Niall's keyword research and some competitive analysis that we did on other partner sites so that we can start making some redirects, updating URLs. It'll help with our search, make sense when people are actually on the page, etc. And then let's see. Niall helped me out with some localization. I didn't put that on there. We have a draft of kind of the first corporate marketing level CI/CD seen as believing polished messaging. I'm not going to show this because this is still work in progress, but it's over to kind of Bree to review now. So this is kind of one of the first things that we did with our new copywriter that we have cross-functionally, where we're getting a little bit more thematic in the copy that we're writing because it's for corporate marketing as opposed to something that's demand gen. So it's looking really great. You all are welcome to look in the document, see how it's set up. And there are some examples in there just for context. There are some examples, but they're just examples. They're not supposed to be implemented. And then we have a new tone of voice. So this is also something that Erica was working on before she left us. And it is really great. It's a good guide for how we speak to people across the spectrum. So this is up in the handbook. The next steps here is there's a video coming. We are going to offer some training for the rest of the marketing team and cross-functionally. And then this is an iteration. So we need to put this in practice and start testing it. So that will be, again, this isn't the final forever. And then we made a few updates to the handbook and template. This is a little on the more boring side, but it's part of our Q4 OKRs. We have coming the new digital experience production template that's much simpler, that has everything on it. We added triage goals to our templates to align with the asks versus the goals. And then finally, I started a kind of like how to set yourself up for success section for the web pages for cross-functional teams. So I started this first content wireframe based on an existing web template so that as you guys create these web pages, we can hand off something that's a little bit easier to people to provide, like, this is the CTA that I want, this is the content that I want, and then our team can go and optimize that. The content team can work through copy. You guys can have everything set up in the design already that's in there. So things should move a little bit quicker for cross-functional teams and have a little bit less back and forth. So that is it for me. Sorry, I just realized I was sharing my screen the whole time on one thing. Apologies.
Well, Becky, you're up next to lead shout outs.
Okay, cool. So shout outs. This is if you want to just give gratitude to anybody. It can be on this team. It can be on another team. It can be a vendor or a contractor, just to say thank you for the work. So the first person up is Niall.
Yeah, I just wanted to give a quick shout out to the content team. Obviously, there's been a lot of work going into altering or optimizing the pages for specific keywords and positioning. Just one example where we've seen great results is the version control page. We've done a lot of on-page work. I think it was with Suri, with regards to the copy and keyword position on page to kind of push up version control as one of our primary keywords. We're now in position 7 with it, and the impact on that page, as well as other various factors, but we're now seeing 141% increase in this quarter so far compared to the previous quarter in traffic, and also in terms of the quality of the copy itself, we've seen a 24% increase in time on page. So I think that's great. That's only reflective of one page in particular. We've seen great results across the other pages. But I just thought it was worth highlighting. So thanks to them, and just hand it over to Becky.
Sure. I'm shouting out Niall and Hanif for getting those URL and folder structures to make some sense on some big cross-functional projects. Sometimes it is, I will look at them, I will put them in something, and then I will have to shut my computer because it's stressing me out and go get a cup of tea. So it's really helpful. And then also thanks to the digital experience team. I know that there's a lot of new people or relatively new people, but you guys have been doing a great job of pivoting on some asks that are ever changing that we don't have control over and getting that stuff out. So really appreciate it. And I think Sami's next.
So I want to send a big shout out to Lauren. So I think I woke her up this morning. I'm not sure, but I'm 2 hours ahead of our time. And I needed something to go live by around 9 a.m., which should be 7 a.m. our time. And I was scared that maybe she would be up or she won't be up, but she just came out of nowhere and she just went off like that. So I really want to say a big shout out to you. Thank you very much for the good job. Yeah, thanks. You're super awesome.
I think I'm next. I have 3 shout outs. Also to Lauren, we've been working really closely together for the past like 10 days now since we kicked off the new year. And she's just, amazing. That's really the word that sums it up. Sami, first time working with you really closely this week too. Thank you for your attention to detail. When I first looked at the work you did, I actually thought I was looking at my Figma file, which is super impressive. And Tyler, again, thank you for supporting me through setting things up on my local. I've been hitting my head against the wall, and you're so calm and supportive. And sometimes it's really not my fault. And thank you for letting me know that. Tyler's next. No, Javi's next.
I just wanted to shout out Jeremy Elder and just Pajamas Foundation in general. I think there was a thread where they discovered that we were working on this separate system. And I think like a lot of the natural instinct is just to be like, what? This is a thing that like someone else is doing that like is not owned by us. Like what? So they were very gracious with that. They even provided a logo which is being used for our Slipper repo. So I think I just wanted to shout that out because I think it would have been very easy to be like, oh, like, so thank you to them.
Great. Thanks, everyone. I don't see any more shout outs on the agenda. Nobody chiming in now. So I think at this point, we're good to cap off our recap call, and we'll all catch up soon on the marketing strategy and tactics call. So thanks, everyone, and have a great weekend.